5 fashion brands robbing you blind, and 5 that actually deserve the hype. There is a moment, subtle, almost invisible, when someone realizes they've been paying for something that was never really there. Not quality, not craftsmanship, not even design, but the idea of it. And once you see it, you can't unsee it, because the truth about fashion, especially luxury fashion, is not that it's fake. It's that it's misunderstood on a massive scale. And that misunderstanding is incredibly expensive. The illusion of value. Most people believe they are buying quality, but they're not. They're buying recognition. They're buying the silent agreement that happens when someone across the room sees a logo and nods internally. That nod, that tiny invisible validation, is what drives billion-dollar industries. And once you understand that, you start asking a different question. If I removed the logo, would I still want this? For many brands, the answer is uncomfortable. 5 brands robbing you blind. 1. Gucci doesn't sell clothing. It sells identity amplification. The designs are loud, recognizable, immediate, built to be seen, not lived in. And while some pieces are genuinely well made, the majority rely heavily on branding to justify pricing. You're not paying for the garment, you're paying for the signal. Door 2. Balenciaga. Once rooted in true couture innovation, Balenciaga today thrives on disruption and shock value, oversized silhouettes, distressed aesthetics, intentionally ugly design. The strategy is clear: create conversation, not longevity. You're buying relevance, and relevance expires quickly. 3. Versace is pure visual noise, and that's intentional. Gold accents, bold prints, heavy branding. It performs luxury instead of embodying it. And performance by nature needs an audience. Without one, it loses its purpose. 4. Dolce & Gabbana. Highly theatrical, emotionally charged design, but often inconsistent in quality relative to price. Many pieces feel like costumes rather than clothing, and costumes don't age well. They stay frozen in the moment they were created for. 5. Off-White. Off-White mastered the art of cultural hype, quotation marks, industrial belts, graphic repetition, but strip away the branding and you're often left with mid-tier construction at luxury-level pricing. It's branding-first fashion, and branding fades faster than fabric. Now, the other side of the story. Because not all expensive fashion is a scam. Some of it, quietly, almost invisibly, is worth every cent. Not because it screams, but because it doesn't have to. 5 brands that actually deserve the hype. 1. Loro Piana. Loro Piana doesn't sell fashion, it sells materials perfected over generations. Cashmere so refined it feels unreal. Fabrics developed, not sourced. No loud logos, no need. You don't wear Loro Piana to be seen. You wear it because nothing else feels the same. 2. Brunello Cucinelli. This is luxury with philosophy. Every piece reflects restraint, balance, and human craftsmanship. It doesn't try to impress, it aligns with you, quietly. And that's why it lasts. 3. Zegna understands structure, tailoring that works with the body, not against it. Innovation in fabric without sacrificing elegance. It's not flashy, it's precise. 4. The Row minimalism at its highest level. No logos, no noise, no distractions, just proportion, fabric, and intention. Here is your translation, preserving the tone, rhythm, and cinematic depth of the original. In the end, it's not about the brands, it never was. Brands were only the vehicle, the shortcut, the visible surface of something much older and much quieter. The search for belonging, for recognition, for that intimate feeling that who we are is enough to occupy the space we wish to inhabit. And for a while, it feels like it works. The purchase, the packaging, the weight of the bag in your hand, the ritual of bringing something new home. There is a moment, brief, almost imperceptible, when everything feels aligned, as if that piece has finally resolved something that was left open. But that moment doesn't last, because what was unresolved was never in the piece. This is the point most people avoid facing. Not because they lack intelligence, but because facing it requires a kind of honesty that cannot be outsourced. No brand can provide it. No price can replace it. No logo can sustain it. There is a difference, be it quiet but absolute, between owning something and being defined by something, and that difference reveals itself over time, through use, through repetition, through the way a piece integrates or doesn't into your life. Some things enter your wardrobe, others enter your identity, and very few, very, very few, become part of both. What you eventually discover is that the true value of a piece was never in the hype, never in the narrative built around it, and certainly not in the external validation it promises. The value is in the relationship, in the way it responds to your body, in the way it follows your days, in the way it stops being noticed and starts being lived in. It is in that moment, and only in that moment, that something shifts. You stop buying to impress, stop buying to become, stop buying to prove, and slowly you begin to choose. Choose with precision, choose with calm, choose with a kind of clarity that no longer depends on what others will think. And that's when the game completely changes. Because ironically, it's when you stop trying to look like someone that you finally become someone worth observing. Not through effort, but through coherence. There is a very specific kind of freedom in not needing what you wear to explain who you are. And that freedom cannot be sold. It's not in storefronts, not in campaigns, not in top 10 lists. It lives in the moment when you hold something in your hands and you no longer ask, is this recognized as, but instead, is this mine? And that question changes everything because it removes the noise, removes the excess, removes the quiet desperation of trying to keep up with something that never had a finish line. From that point on, your wardrobe stops being a collection of impulsive decisions and becomes a coherent system. Every piece has a place, every choice has a reason. Nothing is there by accident. Nothing is there out of pressure. Nothing is there to convince anyone of anything. And, ironically, that is exactly what makes everything stronger, more real, more present, more you. In the end, the brands that rob you are not only the ones that charge a lot for very little, they are also the ones you use to escape yourself. And the ones that are worth it are not just the ones that deliver quality. They are the ones that disappear enough to let you appear. Because style, real style, is not what you add. It's what remains when you stop exaggerating, when you stop performing, when you stop asking for permission. And maybe that's what few people understand, but everyone feels when they walk into a room and something shifts. It's not the clothing. It never was. It's the absence of need. It's the presence of someone who is not trying to convince anyone of anything, someone who doesn't need to, someone who has already decided. And that decision, that stillness, that kind of certainty is the rarest thing there is. And, ironically, it's the only thing that cannot be bought. It's the kind of brand you don't notice until you do. 5. Keton. Keton is craftsmanship in its purest form, handmade, time-intensive, almost obsessive in detail. It's not about trends, it's about mastery. And mastery doesn't need marketing. The real difference, it's not about price, it's about what you're actually paying for. There are two types of luxury. Recognizable luxury, built to be seen, driven by branding, depreciates socially over time. Intrinsic luxury, built to be felt, driven by craftsmanship, deepens with time. Most people start with the first. Very few evolve into the second, the shift that changes everything. At some point something clicks. You stop asking, will people notice this? And start asking, does this actually belong to me? That's when your wardrobe changes, not in size, in meaning. Final thought. There will always be brands trying to sell you a version of yourself, and there will always be brands creating something real. The difference isn't in the store, it's in your ability to see it, because once you do, you stop being impressed by the price and start being guided by the truth.